So here we are. Good day. We're just wrapping up a couple of last-minute things on our we're going to do copy. We're wrapping up some things with our software, if possible. And, as you know, this is all new to me, so we're going to do one more time to try the old Facebook runaround. Yeah, it's like, I'd like to stream. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, you know what it is. I think we're actually possibly live. I don't know. Stragglers. And then go live. Okay. I think this might do it. And here we are. I think we're all here. Good day, all. This is an exciting milestone. I was able to finally get every stream platform streaming for now. We've got Twitch, we've got YouTube, and we've got Facebook, I think. So what are we going to do today? We're going to try to wrap up this installment of our Dateline host portrait series. We are going to hopefully, I really don't know, actually. Oh, go live. Okay, yeah, we're going to go live. Okay, this is exciting. Sorry, now we're live on the Facebook. So that's a huge moment. And all right. So what else can we do? We're going to share this to our portrait painters group. And so portrait painters and followers of the Eastland Portraits Facebook page, good morning, good day. I am quite pleased that I was able to get my streams up and running. And so we're up. And then the last thing we've got to do is just to say that we have chats. You can make comments, ask questions, let's talk, let's talk art. And then hopefully I will see your notification. Okay. Now the only other thing that we're going to have left to do is quadruple check that everything's working here. So how do we do that? We'll get our brush And then we're going to make sure we're on our layer. And then we'll find an area we need to sort of get working on. I think this is where we left off yesterday, to be honest, but something like this. Blast that in. All right, so let's just very briefly, I'm going to go into the other room to make sure that our time lapse is live. And I'll be back. Time lapses go. Capcom go. And here we are. Okay, so let's zoom out on our portrait and review a couple of things here. One of those is, what exactly are we doing today? We are trying to just finish up here. We're going to try to finish up our painting. Oh, weird, look. There's my stream software. Okay. Now, we left off yesterday, still working on our still working it out down here on the jacket. Now we can probably just crack this stuff in here. If you had like a giant brush like this. And so we're going to kind of do this site size comparison between trying to flick your eye back and forth and make a just kind of say, all right, what's the same and what's different? Well, obviously we don't have a lot of these, we don't have any of this gray blotchy stuff happening. We don't see our background in our portrait, in our reference photo. And really, we are just like we did with the head, we're blocking in the basic planes. And in this case, the planes are, quite simple. I mean, in some ways, that's what's so hard about clothes, is just trying to let yourself simplify, because you're so used to painting all these intricacies and highlights in the eyes and nose wings that need to be perfectly positioned and all this. And with clothes, the truth is, it's very simple. It's darks and lights, and sometimes that throws me off. I don't know about you, but for me that can be that'll throw me off. So let me know what you work on typically if you're a painter or you're a traditional painter, digital painter, say hi, we'll chat. Honestly, it's fun to chat because for a number of reasons, but I learn a lot from talking to other artists and non-artists, and it's fun to get a conversation going. So don't hesitate to give me a shout out and say, what are you doing? What on earth is this? Whatever comes to mind. Okay. So, I have a group of friends who every year hire a model and go out into the woods and paint the figure in plein air in the wilderness. And the host of that event, that annual event, is moving to a new home after many decades living in New York. And so some of us had a party to say goodbye to our friend, but also kind of, a warm send-off because they are moving to a new home. So it was just fun to, I don't see a lot of those dear painting friends in the rest of the year. But this time it was good to connect and see what they're up to. And then we did some creative projects where we passed around pieces of blank paper and kind of had fun drawing on those papers. All right, so as you'll see, we've got some stuff to do here. Get our tiny brushes out. Get our So the other day when we started this portrait, somebody asked the question, is it normal in portrait painting to sort of, I think the gist of the question was, I would think when you start a painting, you start in like big blocks of tone rather than going in for the kind of details right away. That basically one approach that this viewer had in their mind was, why not start with a big, pink block? Why go in here and start in on the tones and little details? I would think this viewer would have thought that starting with a kind of basic shape and then honing into the details would be ideal, or just sort of that's the way, sort of like clarify, and get down into the details as you go. And I said that that's definitely one way to go. But the way that I typically work is to actually attempt to find some of these bigger shapes sort of right off the bat. And I think if you look at these, if you look at how I'm working into a gray background, that kind of supersedes the need to mass in big swaths of gray or dark, because we already have a middle value. We're starting, the canvas is a middle value already. And then what we're just doing is kind of placing highlights and darks into that existing foundation. And if you place them somewhat accurately, then you can begin to see things taking shape. And, you know, the rest is history if you continue to arrange the tones around the canvas. If you keep at it, you're going to get a likeness, and you're going to get things are going to start looking like. It's almost like I talk about it like paint by numbers, glorified paint by numbers. I don't know how glorious it is, but to me it's glorious to see a shape like this, where there's this halftone, and then a shape like this, and know where that is, and say, all right, let's just plop that on there, and then see if it, and look, here's another middle value. Okay, so something like that, and you start to see the forms take shape right away. Why? I guess, in other words, why refine shapes if your eye knows, if you can see the shapes and place them accurately in the first place, then you'll avoid having to do all kinds of extra work. So that's sort of the idea. It's easier said than done, but there's a way to train your eye so that you can see what those shapes are supposed to be. That may not have been correct there, but that's fine. I went the wrong direction. So, and we're blurring edges. We're putting a sharp edge down, and then we're softening that edge. Now, I'm going to get a little closer here and see. I often avoid getting that close, but I like to be able to zoom out, compare the two, 1-to-1, and I flick my eye back and forth, and I see what's the farthest thing off. First, I worked on the head, and now I'm going to finish up with the suit. Certainly get this floral pocket square. Whoop. No, that's not what we want to do. I don't like to erase, but sometimes if I make a total gaffe, I'll do the old Command Z. That was another conversation we had yesterday. So we got a little bit of a chatting community going here, at least on Twitch. which is the first platform I started streaming on. And then I said, well, let's see if there's anyone in Facebook world who would want to hang out and do some painting. And actually, we had YouTube. So we have YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So I keep advertising the possibility of becoming the first commenter on YouTube. How exciting would that be? To be the first conversation to start us off on a YouTube chat. We've done a lot of streams on YouTube already, and we've never had a chat. So anyway, it's out there. It's up for grabs. The distinguished title of First Chatter. Okay. Now, Pocket Square. What do we think? I'm probably not going to get too far into the weeds on the details here, but we can certainly crack in this highlight. And when you're painting, you look back and forth and you see if you are in the right spot. This is kind of interesting. Look at this kind of error that I made here. Among many minor errors, but this one, I don't think I quite addressed. So we'll zoom out, take a look. Mm-hmm. We can build this stuff. I mean, the beautiful thing about a pocket square is that you can kind of invent the patterns in a way that if you start inventing the patterns of the highlights on the face, you're going to lose that person's likeness. But in the pocket square, you might be able to get away with a little imagination. Not too much. All right, so here's an example of, I think, what that friend on Twitch was talking about previously, which is, why not plop in a big color like that and then find another detail, another highlight color, and place it next to it. So that's basically what we're doing. So, okay, now, where are we at? We're going to let's find out what we're going to do. Here's our pocket. You'd use a little brush, tiny brush, just to indicate where the bottom of the pocket is. Pardon me, I think I have a little touch of the fall allergies. I don't know if that's possible at this stage in the summer, but sometimes I do. think that. All right, so we're going to plop in some halftones. Really just finding the basics. This is a tricky one because there's nothing really in this, what would you call it? Not like nothing on the jacket here is light colored. Nothing is as light as the gray here. I have a phone call. But I can't take it right at the moment. Not ideal. Hold tight just for a second. So what we do is, because we can't actually place highlights down, we need to place the middle values and the darks down here, because the jacket itself is there's no place on this jacket that's as dark. That's as bright as our canvas color. So that's an example where it might actually be helpful to put in a wash of dark underneath. You see a lot of oil paintings done that way, where darkest darks are laid in with a kind of wash. And you can see the grain of the canvas coming out and so forth. And I think at some point we will hope to do some oil paintings and stream those from the studio if possible. But kind of getting the hang of the software, figuring out how to stream at all, let alone in like a studio situation. So now again, we're kind of looking at our shape there and finding out so what else is happening here? Well, one thing is let's find out. I mean, there's just so much to do here. There's so many areas of interest. And sometimes just zooming out, getting a sense of what's what. So So here's sort of a tension point that's interesting. The way the button pulls his jacket to a tension point. And I think we can kind of treat that somewhat like a Well, we can treat it like it's like when we did with the face, where we had the core features, like the nose and the mouth and the eyes. Those are like clear landmarks that we use to, identify where things, we put the nose in, for instance, and then we build everything off of that. For instance, down here, we're sort of floating in a sea of gray. And so any darks, any patterns, shadows, anything we can hold on to is a good thing. You're kind of feeling your way through by putting down landmarks that you see. And the button is obviously the most obvious of the landmarks. Very easy to see where that thing is. And so if you get that, kind of get that knocked in. And find out where that button, how it wraps around. Find a little, see how that, I don't know what kind of button that is, but I like it. It looks like it's sort of a whalebone or something. Maybe not. Maybe it's just some sort of a, that's made to look like an organic kind of shell, glowing. It's got that kind of marine glow to it. All right, we're going to keep on grooving here. Let's find out for sure Okay, so here's another kind of landmark. See this, how the arm, the suit arm connects here. So maybe that's a dark shadow edge that we can find. All right. find a highlight here. So we've talked about this before, but the plaid patterning on the jacket is not going to be the world's most exciting thing to paint. And I'm going to decide later whether we need to have accents like that or not. But, we'll take it. We're not there yet. So now we're just getting the basic shapes in. There's a dark. Sort of melts into another dark. And then here's a dark. So you see, little by little, we're filling in. But not just haphazardly. I don't think that's what we want to do. I think we want to build it up the way we might in a... is sort of layers of tones. And I know this doesn't really, digital paint does not behave the way that oil paint does, in that the light doesn't go through it and all that. It doesn't have that translucency and the transparency. But I like to have this practice of painting be related to my oil painting practice, so I can kind of see. I don't want to sort of form too many digital habits. For example, I could just make this whole thing gray and then throw in the darks on top. I could do that in the blink of an eye. But part of why I'm doing this is because I want the time lapse to kind of show those interesting moments where we're building up values, even if it's something like that could be easily done with the click of a button. Oh, we can make this whole thing gray, but I don't want to do that. And partly that's for the sake of the time lapse, but partly that's also, well, what is it? I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Cool. So here's kind of like another tension point that we can hold on to a bit. Place that. And then find this tension point here. So to help us a little bit, I'm going to place our reference image on top. of our painting, just because I didn't want this overlap happening. So there it is. Let's find, I think that's a good value for the arm here. Might be, okay. Much of this can be okay. Zoom out, take a look, find out where we are, and probably not too far from our first opportunity to take a break. A little take a rest. So, yeah. Now, why don't I... Okay, so look, this is the hard part, to be honest. It's never fun for me to just get in. Oop, what happened? It's not fun for me to kind of just block in these shapes. It could be more fun, but sometimes I'm kind of impatient with it. You know, I don't know about you, but I like to paint the head. I like to paint the face. And sometimes this is slow and tedious. And I don't know why that should be. I guess it's just one of those things. It's like the necessary evil. If you don't paint the torso, there's no place for the head to sit, right? Oh, we'll try to get our darkest dark situated along the edge of the jacket here. And here's a nice sort of pattern that we can hold on to a bit. And watch as it melts up and into the shadows. Something like this. You know, and I don't want to go, yes, you could go super fast and leave this all. I like it to look brushy, don't get me wrong, but I want to make sure that my brush marks are somewhat accurate and not just willy-nilly, you know, blocked in inaccurately. So to that end, we'll just keep finding our oop. Okay. You know, there's not a lot to talk about as far as what I'm doing here. It's just, it's got to be done, right? You have to plug in the you have to plug in the darks here in the jacket. And it's not easy, right? It's not easy because you kind of get lost. What? Is this the place I was working on? Like, it all looks the same. I don't know. It's probably not that entertaining to watch. I find I would guess that the head would be the most fun to watch. But I don't know. Here's a nice potential so you can see here where things become a little more interesting in some ways. And something like this. Yikes. And just kind of, yes, there are moments where things are boring, and you just sort of brace yourself and keep going. And hope for that break. Okay. So, speaking of breaks, we are about I'd say 4 minutes from our first break. So that's not an excuse to stop paying attention, but let us see. How can we move forward again? So I like to zoom all the way out. You can't see this, but I can see that at that zoom, it's like, because my display is bigger than, presumably, than your display, you know, if you're on mobile, you're going to see much smaller. Even on desktop, you might not be able to get the window open to the same size that my Photoshop window is. So when I zoom out like this, it's just sort of to get a bigger bird's eye view on both together, meaning photo and painting. Now, get this going. And get these darks mapped in a bit. It's like, I find it, let me try and keep complaining about why it's so hard to paint this jacket. I think it's something to do with the idea that it's never, it almost doesn't matter what's down here, but at the same, or like, let's say I were to get every little nook and cranny perfectly situated down here. I guess I could, and I'm trying to, but I get almost like crazed with sort of, why are we just drawing this stuff? Like, it's monotonous. That's what it is, I think. And to try to, you just, it is what it is, right? So here, speaking of monotony and its antithesis, what is the antithesis of monotony? Would that be like, I don't know, monotone, motonomy? Oh gosh, I'm losing it, folks. It's time for my break. Monotony. Yes, monotone, multitone. Well, we'll have to find the adjective or the noun. Cool. Can we do a break now? Yes, we're going to do a break. So, as we do on our breaks, we kind of plop in a back at some time sticker. But what time? How about we take a 5-minute break, putting us back at 11:07 Eastern Standard Time. And then we go to our stream and we make sure that's accurate. It's not a huge break, but it's all right with me. Any break is welcome. Okay. And there we go. We'll be back in 4 minutes. Okie dokie. Whoa. Jeez. All right. Step one, get rid of our charming sign. And then we'll zoom back out to distance. And then I'm going to start off our second session with a call to action. Here's the call to action. So, is there anyone on, is there anyone watching who has any questions or comments? Don't be shy. Please drop them into the comments. Really just to, we want to see if our chats are working, and I'm sure they are, but I think it would be cool to have a chat. And then if you've been watching or are interested, I also urge you to I urge you to follow or subscribe. It's not just these long form paintings that we're going to be doing. What I like to do is at the end, of our session, I'm going to loop together all of these what would you call them? We'll loop them all together. Oh my goodness, what on earth was that? That's Photoshop for you. Yes. Okay, here we go. Let's get in here. Anyway, I think you get the idea. Let's pal around on the internet and let's learn something. Oh my. Let's settle it down. All right, now we'll get our brush tool, okay? And then we'll get our... okay. So here, look. See, this is of interest to me. See how this kind of dark brushes in, bleeds in? Now get that out of there. We don't need that. Okay. We're really doing, I think the basic premise here is let's cover the canvas. Let's cover the canvas. We won't have all these distractions. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da. Ah, what'd you get? Just so you guys over at Twitch will like this, but I watch Nintendo video game speed runs from time to time, and I also play speed runs. I run speed runs. Twitch is the platform for that. As you know, if you're on Twitch, you know that's what people do on Twitch, is play video games and other things, but a lot of them play video games. And there's one retro video game streamer, Arcus, who, I don't know, he just has he has a very subtle way of presenting his stream that I really admire. And he works so hard. He works like so hard at his streams. So here's what I'm seeing. Tell me if I'm wrong. Is anybody seeing like patchy anything? You know what I should do? Bear with me. All right. No problem. I thought we were in for it there for a second. Meanwhile, I think we're in good shape as far as our technical stuff. I don't like that. All right, well, at least now we have a good sense of what. Would you not do that? I hope that's not showing up on my other screen. Let's darken in this area here. You can sort of patch it in here, like, you know, we talked about being accurate, but not too, you know, maybe when you get in toward the button, you want to make sure that you're doing it right. So here. There's the button. Where does that, the little eyelet? Is that what it would be called? Eyelet. I don't know. Look at this, kind of nice, the way this shape melts up and in to the rest. You'll see, I think, what happens when you finally get all this stuff covered. I think what happens is it's kind of a relief because you no longer see these patches of gray sticking through. So yeah, that's a relief to me. A sight for sore eyes when you're seeing all this stuff melt away into the darkness. It's really about blurring these edges. So, and we're always blurring edges when we're in the areas of the face and dealing with the likeness and everything. But now we are doing it for real. We're doing it without much reference point, I should say. Now, what am I looking at? It's like, which area is shadow and which area is light? It's like a puzzle. The pieces are not there yet. But you have to think about, what does it look like? What would that piece look like if it was there? And then you invent, well, gosh, is it like a puzzle? It is. I don't know, folks. You have to create the puzzle piece by any means necessary. That's dragging paint, dragging darks and lights this way and that. So that's the kind of nuts and bolts of painting. You're just constantly finding making those puzzle pieces, sticking them in, and then the other challenge is that with a puzzle there's only one piece. With paint by numbers, there's only one number of paint. Here, it's really infinite, the number of the way that shape could look, and so you kind of have to put the piece in, make the piece, stick it on there, and then say to yourself, can I live with that? Or ideally, you like the way the piece looks, and you're like, yeah, that's what I meant. And that doesn't happen as often as the latter, where you're kind of like, can I live with that? So I think painters out there, or other artists, craftspeople, people who do any kind of work, know that it's a balance between what you imagine it could look like, and then what it really ends up looking like. And if you don't try, you won't do it. That's the old Mr. Rogers way. Okay, what's next? Sorry, I'm shouting in the mic. That was a bit of a heavy lift there. I'm going to carve a dark up and over the button here. Okay. zoom out. So it's from this distance, yet again, that we can compare 1 to 1. I can compare 1 to 1. Probably on your screen, it's a little too small to make that kind of a comparison. Like, you're able to see things better at this distance, I guess. But like here, this is a good one. I mean, this has to be done. We know that. This has to be done. So there's no way around it. We're going to plop in that shadow dark of the pocket square. And then we're going to find a pink. That's a nice highlight. We're going to get even closer. And then we're going to zoom out again. You see what happened there? I tried to plop in that highlight and it didn't take. So I'm going to go back. And okay. Let's feed in this highlight tone here. We really want that. It's not quite the lightest light, but I'm going to get in here with a tiny brush. Oh, come on. That's not tiny. Let's figure this out. Okay, so by scanning back and forth between your reference image and the painting, you can start to feed in. See, ideally your eyes are going back and forth and you're like looking equally at the painting as you're painting. Now we have that luxury here doing site size with a screen because we can quickly paint. We can paint while we're, all right, this is what's going to, I'm starting to digress here, obviously, but I'm excited to share something. One of my teachers had a great idea. Actually, this will fall somewhat on deaf ears if you're not a practitioner of site size. So I think what I'm going to do is I keep threatening to do this. I want to do a talk about the site size method and some of the cool advantages of using a method like this. So, but in the meantime, suffice it to say that it's pretty cool to be able to see the painting and the subject from the same distance so that they're the same size. It's a 1-to-1 size comparison, hence the term site size. It's the same size as what you are seeing. The painting is the same size as your subject. It doesn't always go like that. If you've ever painted, most ways, you'll have a piece of paper and you're looking at a model or a fruit, and you are going to see you're looking at the model and you're looking at the fruit, and the paper, the drawing you're working on is maybe bigger or maybe smaller than the impression that you are seeing, whether it's a photo or the model. So if it's bigger or smaller, then you have to make a kind of calculation. Like, okay, well, let's shrink this little triangle shape we're seeing and make it look more like, do a miniature version of that triangle or whatever it is that you're seeing in nature. You're observing a triangle, or in this case, like, look, this like oval shape. Since the oval shape in my painting is the same size as the reference image, we're good. We don't have to make any size translations. And that takes a massive load off the old, it's a big difference. You don't have to translate anything. Now, if you do learn that way of painting by which one makes those translations, then ultimately it's just a different way of getting to the same result or similar result. But site size has other advantages, particularly when you're painting a site size portrait in oil from life, I'm not the best at talking about this stuff on the fly, especially while I'm trying to paint, but I think if you watch more and come back and see some of the things that we get up to here, I think you'll start to see what I mean by the advantages and the benefits of this approach. Okay. Here we go. Whoop. All right. There's our pocket square. Did we ever finish the rest? Not really. Should we? Yes. Man, my tummy's already rumbling. Is it time for lunch? Probably. All right. Would you get that thing out of there? Well, there's an easy way to fix that. Let's do this. Whoa. Whoa, Nelly. So there we go. We're plugging in these darks. So I hope you can see what I'm kind of getting at here in as far as how this is, this is the hard part. I've said that before a few times now, but to me, I'm most comfortable painting the head, and I'm least comfortable painting these kind of human-made forms. I mean, you would never see anything like this really in nature. You would never see this kind of like shiny, this is a human-made object, this man's jacket. And as such, it's just encoding. I don't know what that means. I'm sure it means you're breaking the stream. I hope there's a buffer or something. So back to sort of what I was yapping about is these non-organic forms, let's call them. They don't behave the way the face behaves as far as, reflecting light and the way the things turn. And so I'm just more at home painting the face and the body. But there's no getting around it. We got to finish this. We got to get the clothing done. Because if you don't, you're staring at this kind of, I don't know. You see it here. It's like patchy. Let's get it done. You don't have to get it done fast, but don't delay. Okay, we're pulling some of that light over from the side. Then we're going to finally kind of grab this. Then we're going to grab, I don't know, I like this value here. It's a little lighter here. We can sort of get the indication that he's got his hand in his pocket. Come on, mush some paint in there. Oh boy, we're going to have to fix it in post. No, we're not. Not bad, right? We're getting there. We're getting there. We are getting there. Let's dive into, here, let's not get too cocky. Let's find out what's going on here. There's a bit more as this sort of pillows down. Darkest darks. All right, what do we have? We have a couple more hits. For example, we have, I'd say it's a dark. What do you think? Something like that. Let's cover this up. Let's cover this up. Okay. And then we're going to what was that? Oh, here we go. Here. Blur. This is too dark down here, right? Okay. So we've essentially covered the canvas down here. I want to make sure that we don't sort of jump the shark on this area. So for example, is this, where's my line? Is it like that more? Is this more like this? And how dark is dark? And how dark do we need to get? We're kind of looking for a basic shape down there, okay? Not awful. So I'm flicking my eye back and forth. I'm looking at that dang button. And I'm saying to myself, is it because it's too wide or is it too short? And you'll find that when you do things like this, it's always a little bit of both, often. But I think it's definitely too wide. So we're going to tie it in. We're going to... It's really a matter of what do you see. Can you see that it's too wide? And then double check the things around it to see maybe it's not too wide. Maybe I just spotted it in the wrong place. Who knows? But the button. Here's something interesting about the button. Once I copied a painting that was in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And when I was there, someone was watching. It's a rare experience because you're set up in a museum, and then you have people walking by, and they're maybe like commenting on your work while you are painting. It's hard to sort of like get in the zone maybe. But what in this one particular situation, there was a button on the jacket of the subject. It was a portrait by a British painter named George Romney, and this gentleman was standing behind me watching, and he whispered quite audibly to his wife, I assume wife or girlfriend, he forgot the button. He forgot to paint the button. You know, and I was like, it's not that I forgot. It's just that, so ever since then, I've vowed to paint the button. So, all right. Did I get the button in the right place? Who knows? Okay, so where are we? He forgot to paint the pocket square. No, I didn't. So it's often helpful to bring headphones into situations like that. But, you know, here I am trying to get people to talk to me while I paint so that I can have company and learn something about people and maybe teach people something about painting, at least the way I see it. And I find when the chat is popping, it gets hard to paint, but that's all right. I like the balancing act somewhat. Really get this. All right. We are hopefully closing in on a time when we can after our next break, get into the background. And by background, I mean the thingy, the brick wall behind our pal here. So I was surprised on YouTube to learn that there is no category for art when you're streaming. It doesn't give you the option to say, what kind of stream is this? It's an art stream. So that was interesting to me. Maybe that'll change. Tricky. Let's get a bright highlight here as the pull that across. Whoa, I might have gone a little crazy there. The silence is deafening. It's just, you gotta be willing and able to get it done. And it's not easy, but you just have to keep doing it. It's like putting one brick, a brick wall. 1 brick, 2 bricks, 3 bricks. One after the other. There's a nice color. We're going to hint at the folds in the napkin there. We're going to hint at the little folds down here. And then we're going to find how and if this curves up, curls up. What does it do? How do you do? Now, this is where I get the most anxious here. So I'm going to plop in this light color. And then find another one. See how it's very bright there. Whoop. And here we go again. Let's get a value down here. I can't seem to get I can't figure out how to brush. I don't know. I need a tutorial. I need to Google how to do this. So far, so good, possibly, on the on some of this anyway. Let's see what else we can do. Let's pull this tone through down here. Something like that. Let's find... I'm just flicking my eye back and forth. And at a certain point, I'm going to say, you know what, that's good enough. Let's just keep going. But I'm not quite there yet. Like over here, there's a nice kind of silky passage. Okay, something like that. Pull the lights up and in. Nope, not those lights. Let's get in here. That's not what I meant. What I meant was pull those lights up and over. Pull that one. Mush that over. Now let's carve through here. Make sure we carve that. Okay, there's another hint of that. I'm loving the pocket square, Josh. It's really the right touch. So here we go. Let's find out where this one lives. You know, it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Now, I'm just flicking my eye back and forth as always, but I'm seeing things like, you know, this We want to load our brush and drag it across and over like that. Now from this distance we can sort of determine, I see this nice this really bleeds in a nice way here. Got some highlights. So really just sort of pulling, coaxing values this way and that. You can see I like doing stuff like this more than I do the dreaded jacket where it's just one color the whole time. I don't like that. I like variety. Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting to a point where we can either take a break or get back to the painting the head. Yay! Or both. Or one after the other. So, here's another interesting little passage where we see, I'm going to take this little, can we? I can see it. I don't know, guys. Can we? Something like that. Maybe a little bit of a nice darker value that lives in here. Whoa! I don't want that tool. Okay. Encoding overload. Does that mean you can't see what I'm putting out there? It's 12:01. It's time for a break. We've painted the majority of the suit. After these messages, which there won't be any messages, but I'm going to encourage you to, if you're heading somewhere else, click follow or subscribe, and not subscribe. Just follow so you can come back and join me for the next session. Would love to chit chat. So it's 12:05. I'm going to do a little bit of a longer break. And how are we going to do that? We're going to unlock that. We're going to do 12. We're going to do a 15-minute break, getting us back at 12:17 Eastern. Now, how's that sound? Okie doke. We're taking a break. And we're setting an alarm for 13 minutes. Sorry, a timer. We're not going to end any streams. We are going to potentially... Let's keep it going. We'll keep it going. Let me just double check everything when we're back. howdy. Hello again. How'd we do? Okay. So, whoop, what's that? We gotta, it's chilly in here. All right. Okay. We're back. So, what's happening? What's new? Let's see what we're gonna get up to next. Pardon me. Okay, so here we go. Did we lock in here? Are we still streaming? Yes, we're still streaming. We are okay, should be good. Sometimes what happens is sometimes what happens is my painting gets sort of frozen. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take the opportunity now to not do that. I'm going to fill in some of this stuff with the tie that we have been letting lag. So that means kind of zooming into this level and finding a value that we like, something like that, and pulling, pushing, There's a nice highlight there. Now it's nice to take a long break because then you can kind of get out of your head a little bit. Things get a little, you need a break. So here's my next thing. Whoops. Oh, God. There we go. I should erase that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to fix it later. Basically, we're looking for a value that's close enough. And then we can always... So the interesting thing about this tie is that it's made up of basically pixels. Like 1 minute you think, oh, there's a dark, and then, that's what gives it that kind of silken shimmer, is that the highlights turn into shadows, and back and forth and back and forth. So it's a very interesting texture. And wait. Oh no. I did not mean to do that. Uh-oh. All right. Before we do anything else, gotta take care of some technical issues. No, we're good. So where were we? We were talking about textiles and painting textiles and all that kind of thing. Find a kind of middle value here, something like that is good. And then bring it into, bring it in. See these areas where it's still we're seeing the gray of the canvas. Let's pull those in. Now, obviously, we're going to turn this edge a bit better. Now, whoa. I don't know what that was, but it happened. So here we go. Another cool item of business is, I mean, this is the fun stuff, right? This is what more could you wish for as a painter, to be able to hit these. They're organic forms, but they're visible and they're not too boring, and they're even have pastel colors. Reminds me of, I don't know, like an Easter basket. Super fun. Okay, so see there's a highlight there. Let's make sure our, bring this down. There's a little value. So we get in here with our tiny, probably what would be like a 000 brush, and find that edge. You could probably even get a darker, and drag that in. And something like that. And we can see the edge of the tie, of the shirt collar. We can begin to see that this really, it's white, but it's a little bit of that turn under the lapel. So all that stuff's just, other matters to address would be anyone out there want to suggest a passage to work on. I would like to just get the tie and the shirt down here solved, and then maybe just plop in some stuff for the background. Let's just keep going. I think we're on the right track. So let's just keep going where we were. Yesterday, if you were here at the very end, there was kind of a cool, I thought it was interesting what happened. We had the everything turned black and white, and I don't know why. Oh, I pressed some keyboard shortcut and everything went black and white. So what I noticed was it made it so that the tie, the blue and the purple, were indistinguishable. It was like a solid colored tie. Now, it's not too surprising because it's the same sort of tone. So that's an example of where tone kind of, tone trumps tonal value trumps color. Now, this is not a fact. It's just one way of looking at painting. And that's the way I look at it. And so it was very interesting to see, at any rate, to see that. We don't want his tie to be too funky. We don't want it to be, we want it to actually take a deep breath. Keep going. It's all good. It's all good. Ah, there it is. I got it. Well, that's a bit much. I mean, the tie all right, we can start to kind of rule out some of these gray areas. Pardon me. We'll find that edge. We can even get like a darker dark and just pull it through. I never quite got this highlight the way I wanted it. So we'll keep trying. Keep trying, you'll get something like that. How about this nice blur edge? And then blur this one. Blur that across. Very quiet here, right? I want to make sure that we blend and blur properly. Probably okay for a bit there. How about the space here to the left of the tie? That needs a little home. This dark patch here can be blurred in. All right, we're losing a little bit of the architecture in the collar there. But wait, why am I like this? Are we good? All right, well, we'll figure it out. So let's discuss. We have, it appears that we are on track. We have about 30 some odd minutes. Whoa. Oh my gosh. All right, here. See this? We'll get our distance and we'll fill this in with a tiny brush. No one is alive. All right. We blur that edge. We take the rest of our... What color is this? Anybody know the name of this color? It's that pastel-y... purple. She plants a tree of life. Mm-hmm. All right, let's take a look for other zones of interest as far as just we don't want to leave too many like dark areas. Not dark areas, I mean unpainted areas. Great example right here. You ever listen to a record and then the next thing you know, for the whole week, you're hearing the song? Ooh, okay. So if we zoom out, it's kind of cool. I feel like it could be better. It could always be better, right? But I like that. I like that we've got at least we've got a fighting chance here. We're going to put this in. So see this, what's happening is the rubber's starting to meet the road, and we have to learn where what is road and what is rubber. And we have to parse that out. Harks, there are drums, four winds. Okay. Looking back and forth into the, oh boy. Let's get this value. I don't know what I just did there, but something had to be done. Something must be done. Encoding overloaded. Maybe the problem is I have 3 streams going. That might be part of it. I don't know how this stuff works, but sure is magic. Right. So you can see that this fold in the shirt, by turning that edge and softening the way it turns, you get a more accurate view as to whether is that shirt folding in or folding out. So Always looking back and forth. Oh boy. So I think we can kind of, well, I want to say we can swing the cat a bit, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to give up so fast. So for example, let's pull this out and around. Pull this up and through. See how that edge kind of can be pulled and dragged. And there's kind of a beautiful pink shadow there that we can find. And then we can grab our shadow edge. And then this, pull that one down. We never want to go too far, but we can pull it back up and in. And then I think it probably goes without saying that we need to clean up these darks here. It's really pulling that this way and that, right? You got to pull it, shape it. Now, zooming out, we're going to get the chance to make I'd like to kind of keep going with that area just there. That was pretty cool, fun. And I think that's the thing, just work until it's no longer fun. Or like, it's not always fun, but just saying. you know, work on an area until it's like really not fun. That's crazy. Call in progress. For some reason, we have a British alarm system on our door to our apartment building. You can hear call in progress. There he is. All right, now, I always like to do this sort of thing because it's, have you ever played those games? It's like, find the, spot the difference, it's called. I love those games. What's going on here? Am I stuck? Oh boy, folks. Well, I don't know when that happened, but we just did a lot of cool stuff. And I hope you didn't miss it. But we'll be hopefully doing some more cool stuff. So, there's our stream, our spot the difference. What were we talking about? Okay, you know the spot the difference games? Well, I've just spotted a difference under here, under the sort of throat, the neck of the tie here. I want to see these. I want that to be more apparent. And then we'll zoom out and see. Was that too much? Probably. Always is, right? Look at how we could blur this edge similarly. Now, is there a nice highlight here? Probably. Am I missing it? Looks like it. Once again, dragging and dropping some of this stuff. Dragging and dropping some of this stuff. Dragging and pulling back. Pulling back and away. Okay, you're not always gonna nail it, but you can try. Darks in the neck. We're zoomed in as much as we can possibly be here. Let's find out. Pull this up and through. Don't lose grip on our tablet. Sometimes my tablet slips out from under when I'm up in the hinterlands. Yeah, you don't need that. All right. My goodness, is it almost time? It's almost time. I think we're going to bookmark this session for today. One thing I'd like to do before I go, actually, we might as well just solve this little matter of how this overload. Something like that. I don't know. This is where it gets tough for me. These kind of conical shapes and things. I'm just learning. I'm just doing my best. But certainly you can get this sort of tucked in there. Find your darkest dark value. Something like that. And then I think the way to go is to grab one of these and then pull that out and over, and pull that out to the side. Okay, so then you at least get this kind of like indication that that's turning. This dark is way too dark. We're gonna really curl this back in a way. Oh boy, look what I just did. This is where I have to go back. Here, we'll go. We do that, and then I have to go back to the burn tool, before the burn tool. I hit the burn tool when I'm trying to get I don't know. I hit O instead of whatever. Get a little carried away. Nope. Well, whatevs. We'll solve it eventually. It's like this. Okay, and then this. We just gotta blur it, right? So maybe something like that. Probably that edge needs to be dealt with a scalpel and not with a hammer the way I just did it. But let's see if this could be adjusted somewhat. Cockboy. Wait, what is this? I'm going number 2. Okay. Who am I drawing? Welcome. Thank you. I am drawing this gentleman, Josh Mankiewicz. And actually, thanks for stopping in. This is unexpected that we would get a chat. But thank you for the first time chat. And here's what I'm thinking. We just did 3 hours. So I'm not going to keep drawing, but I'm happy to keep chatting. What's going on? Danny DeVito's evil twin. Daniel Davidson. Yeah, he's got the mobster look, right? He is a presenter of the true crime news program Dateline. What about yourself? What are you up to? Oh my goodness, thanks for the follow. That's awesome. Bro, so sorry that your very first viewer message is me announcing what I'm doing in the bathroom. That's really okay. We welcome all are welcome. But yeah, thanks for stopping in. Are you an artist or just a viewer or both? And I will say to the YouTube audience and the Facebook audience, we have a chat from I see. He's an artist. So yeah, we're doing a very simple drawing, digital painting of Josh Mankiewicz. We started with the head. Hang on, let me put this. We started with his head. Actually, I'm going to put that on for a while. You know, we started from scratch, really. And we started like this, and then we just did little by little. And we started with the head. And then we, gosh, it's been a battle, right? Anyone else out there in the chat want to tell our pal what we have been up to? Yeah, like just kind of one foot in front of the other. And now we're 12 hours in. And I think the next session is going to be a deep dive into the background. And then probably what I'll do is I'll go back over the head and find areas where I left things too vague. But I want to keep the brushiness of this one. But regardless, welcome. Thanks for the chat. I'm encouraging people over at YouTube to chat as well. But it's really great to talk. Sometimes I get into the zone here. And, things get awful quiet in the chat. Now, how about yourself? What brings you to the? You said you're in the bathroom, and you're just like, let's see what's going on Twitch, and then you found me painting Josh Mankey. No, I shouldn't do that. I'm done painting for today. So, not today, but after lunch, we're going to plop, plop, plop in the background. I think we're in good shape. Let's stop the time lapse. Okay, this is kind of fun. Should we look at the time lapse? Let's look at the time lapse together. Huh? Huh? Desktop. Here we go. All right, so here we were. We'll do the sideways view. Oh, can we rotate it? Wow. No, I don't want to do that. Oh, well, forget it. I'm not going to export anything. We don't have a lot of memory on our canvas, so. All right, so here we go. This was today's session. Are you there? I feel a little awkward maybe calling you by your screen name. I'll just call you. Twitch is we're a family-friendly channel here. But CB, we are, can you see this? We started like this, and then got in here and hit up. Oh, that was lunch break, see? So we all kind of, a bathroom break, right? We all go to the bathroom at this channel. We just worked on all that stuff today. So that was fun. And then the next thing we'll do is approach the background. So what do you think? If I'm back in the afternoon, will you join? I got to eat. But it was fun to chat, and I hope to see you at the next time. I'll probably be back on at like 2 p.m., to be honest. So we'll say adieu, so long, for now. I hope we can keep chatting. All right? Stop Facebook. See you later. See you later, YouTube. Thank you.